Will you follow me when the sky starts to change? Yeah, we won't be afraid. We'll never be the same again.
And thoughts of wrestling out of control. We are a group of weebs who love the entertainment of professional wrestling. So allow us to be the voices inside of your head as we go through the wrestling event of the evening, give our thoughts and predictions on what's to come, and provide an experience inclusive to all you nerds out there. So grab your steel chair, yell for the table, get put through an experience unlike any other. Brought to you, of course, by Animal We Studio. This is the Weebs of the Ring, a podcast. Happy Monday to all you Garfield fans out there. Hopefully it was was a good and lovely day for you all. I know I had a decent day and all that, but enough about me. I don't like to talk about me too much. Yeah, again, hopefully everybody had a good day. When it comes to wrestling, though, well, we'll talk about if that was good or bad or mediocre at best when we get to the show. Because hey, we're here to talk about Monday Night Raw taking place in the good old Flair country of North Carolina, and yeah, thank God Roman's back. That's all I'm gonna say right now. That's how I'm gonna start with my comments for the night. Yeah, so welcome to all of our returning listeners, all of our returning viewers. Love to see you all back here, all 102 of you, whether you're checking us out live, checking out the VOD, we appreciate you, and of course, checking out the shorts and TikToks that we are releasing now to give you a little bit of the short form content that you so love out there. But if you're new around these parts, take a seat, get a nice little table, get your dinner or breakfast or lunch ready, because we're going to talk some wrestling for the next hour and a half, 2 hours, depends on how long it takes to get through this night, which I know I don't have too many comments besides some criticisms, but of course, again, you guys are new here. Who are we? Well, I am your reigning, defending, undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, Watkins. I'm going to be your guide through the evening tonight and helping you guys kind of maneuver around this evening of quote unquote wrestling. But of course, there are two lovely gentlemen right here joining me for the evening. First and foremost, I'm going to introduce you to the man on my right, if you are those of the visual kind watching the YouTube video. He is known as a visionary, known as a revolutionary. He has to beat Cody Rhodes by any means necessary. He is the one that loves Bill Goldberg to death, so much so that he wishes that Goldberg continued his undefeated streak even through his time in WWE, just continued going on through it. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Legend D Vash. Vash, how you doing tonight?
Like Triple H even asked and even pointed out during ESPN, he was like, really? Goldberg, of all people, like he has done an amazing career, but what has he done? That's the good question to ask, because what has he done? What have I done to Walker for him to crucify me and be like, yo, he's the number one fan of Goldberg? Like, no. If you want to say that, at least say number one fan of Jeff Hardy, John Cena, Randy Orton. Let's put the MVPs out there. But hey, if you love Goldberg, we do not discriminate. Hey, if he's one of your favorites, it is what it is. But it's your boy, the Latino Heat, the visionary, legendary version. I'm here to tell you guys that Seth will be winning a crown jewel. That's my belief. That is my prediction, or that is my spoiler, or that is my fact for the evening. And I'm telling you guys, and I've been thinking about this because even I was right about something else this past Saturday. I said it in my head. I did not say vocally out to the audience, to the cosmos, that Ricky Saints was going to win against Obafemi. But once, Drop said it during the thread and said, yo, he won out, like, yo, I should put money in. I should have. I have predictions, and I feel like they're coming right. So I'm going to say right now, Seth is going against Cody over.
Word. That's something I can at least get behind. And, you had mentioned the man himself, but to my left, he is known around these parts as the genius of the mat. He's going to help us process these stories going forward. Hopefully he can make me feel a little better about some of the stuff that definitely happened tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Drop This Box. Drop, how you doing tonight?
I'll try my best, because for the most part, when it comes to how we typically feel about the shows, me and you sometimes fall on the same radar when it comes to how we feel about certain things, because I'm probably the same as you. There's a couple things that I want to mention, and then outside of that, there's like a couple things I didn't necessarily care for. Like, I feel like this might be like another repeat that I did with last week's coverage, where there was maybe about 2 or 3 things that I cared about on this show. And then outside of that, it's either things we've seen before or even things we're seeing next week when it comes to seeing Lyra and Roxanne having yet again another match. I don't know why. I don't know why she's trapped in the Judgment Day vortex, but we can't really do anything about that. But yeah, with this episode of Raw, I mean, I don't know, man. It's kind of one of those things where when I was watching it, for some strange reason, this has been an ongoing thing in my head, where every time I watch an episode of Raw, it sometimes feels like when I look at the clock that even though it's like a 2.5 hour show, it sometimes feels like once we get to that hour length when it comes to the show, it feels like there's already a lot going on. And then I look at the clock and I'm like, wait, there's still more there. Like, what else are they going to really throw in there? Because it seems like they threw a lot of things in there in terms of either trying to extend things when it didn't necessarily need to head down that direction, or whatever the case may be. But yeah, I'm probably gonna try my best, like Watkins and Vash tonight, when it comes to giving my overall thoughts on how I feel about what transpired on this episode of Raw.
Yeah, and again, just to refresh everybody, because there are probably some new people out there right now listening to us or watching us right now. We're honest on this podcast. We try not to sugarcoat anything. If something's bad, we're gonna be like, oh, that was stinky, and if it was good, hey, it was the best thing ever. But most of the time, it's just our initial thoughts and reactions to what happened at this wrestling show. And with that preface out of the way, I'm glad you used the word repeat, because this felt a lot like a bunch of copying pasting from a lot of different things that we've seen in recent memory too. And it's getting to that point where I'm really like, I remember I had this thought today as I was watching Raw. I was like, man, I remember when I used to be excited to watch Raw. And I'm not just talking about, when I was like a little kid, like back in like the mid 2000s or whatever. No, I'm talking about like even this year. Like there were some times I was like legitimately excited to watch Raw or SmackDown. And now it almost seems like I am a little bit excited to watch SmackDown. That's usually fun on a Friday night. But like when it comes to Raw lately, I'm just like I feel nothing almost. Like everything just like it feels like everybody's just held back a little bit, or like there's something just not clicking right now, and I don't know if that's something like it reminds me a lot. So all you Avatar: The Last Airbender people, you might know exactly what I might be getting at here, because there is no war in Bossing Say. There is no strife in Bossing Say. There's no negativity in Bossing Say. Everything is fine in WWE. There's no strife in WWE. Everybody loves everything in WWE. Don't you see the smile on my face? But like, there's just something that's just not clicking, and it's getting through in the product too. Like there was missed moves tonight. People just felt off during their entrances. I don't know what the deal was with the pyro, if that was just like where they were at, or like the arena they were at, or what. Like it just something just continues to just feel off about the company. And I hate being just told things. And I'll get into that when we get to our stuff with Cody. But we're just going to go right into this headline story, because the biggest talking point tonight, the biggest thing to hopefully save us from all this is, so we were supposed to have this tornado tag match between the Usos and the Brons on Monday Night Raw. Big old no DQ match, fine, whatever. Match was okay. Like, honestly, if you've seen any of the beatdowns that have happened in the past couple weeks, again, copy paste, click, click, click. There you go. There's that tornado tag match right here. At least Roman Reigns came back. Roman Reigns comes back with a steel chair, beats up on the Brons, helps the Usos win, and him and Jay have a bit of words with nice little placement there of Jimmy, like kind of between them in the background. I thought that was really good, and I can kind of see where the story might be going from here. Again, Roman coming back is the big highlight from the evening. There's a couple other good highlights here, but I'm gonna bring it to you guys first, as always, with the roundtable part of these discussions. Vash, what do you think of the match? Roman coming back? Any expectations coming forward? Talk to me, buddy.
So chat. So when it comes to what Watkins said, I do want to highlight that I've been feeling the same when it comes to Raw. I've been like, I still get excited for Raw just because of the premise and the concept. I'm just having expectations, but with expectations sometimes leads to disappointment, because when you expect something to still be great as it was, it's not as great as it used to be. So currently, like Walker said, over the past couple weeks, I've been feeling a bit like, once I come in and get to Raw, I'm excited. Once I come out of it, I'm like, it could have been better. The story, the script, because a bit of back and forth. Well, if y'all don't know, it's scripted. It's a formatted show. For example, a big friend of ours, his memory NK, he asked me, how is it that you guys make the streams or know the storyline already? It's like, hey, just like anime and manga or movies have their own leaks and their own stuff coming out before it's released, so the same thing happens with pro wrestling and other outlets. So we just get to find out what happens prior. Me adding that context is just great to inform friends and other peeps that don't know about the business that or don't know more in depth about it, and you just can peel the curtain. The reason I'm bringing that up is because I like the story format about the Jay and Jimmy stuff in this. I'm very impressed. I like how, for example, at the end, Roman was telling Jay, don't trust nobody. It's all about you. You gotta be strong. You gotta be focused. Yourself one-on-one. It's you focus in the game. Jimmy in the back, in the background compared to the far guy, he was showing expression. He was like, "Yo, I'm disgusted by that thing. What the fuck's going on?" Like, I see the mentorship again, but instead of alpha to beta, it's more like alpha to alpha, but showing how to be like stay as the alpha, which was pretty cool. The wrestling match, I'm gonna tell you, chat, I was not really paying attention fully. There were some cool spots, but it felt like the joke that people said during WrestlePalooza. That, hey, it kind of feels like, hey, if you guys already have seen this match, you could go the past 6 weeks about main event of how this match has been going. So just because we have a different stipulation of the Tornado tag team style, all right, cool, that's the only difference. But I like the story aspect about the brotherly sibling, the one that has tasted power or that has tasted success in the individuality wants to stay like that. And that's why Jay even told Jimmy in the back, said like, hey, you haven't been champ. You don't know how it is, Us. Like all those little things that I love the story bit around this, I've been enjoying very much. About the wrestling aspect, about the match itself, don't have too much opinion on it. However, I would say the Roman aspect, it was fire to see. The crowd was hyped for it. I didn't expect that, so that's really cool to see. Just not, it was nice to have something without being spoiled or expectation as would be. But overall, I was hyped about it.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. What about you, Drop? How do you feel about the match? Roman's return, the big old tribal chief finally coming back. Probably the biggest pop of the night, if we're being honest. Like, people were legit surprised. I mean, I know we got told, hey, he's done filming Street Fighter and all that, so his return was inevitable, but kind of wasn't expecting him tonight. So how do you feel about his return tonight, the match going into everything, this new wrinkle with Jay? How's it simmering for you, I guess, as the cooks cook their meal?
So I don't personally care about the match at all, if I'm being perfectly honest. This match didn't really do anything for me because it's like you said, it's the same match we've been seeing for the past couple weeks. And we recently got this match where we had both of the other guys against the other guys at WrestlePalooza. So we already saw the match. The only thing, like Vash said, it's just a stipulation. But at the same time, it's not really doing anything because the main talking point, like we are already talking about right now, is the return of Roman Reigns. That's literally, if you wanted to see how this show ended, what you can take from it and talk about and make a video on, just like us, it's the return of Roman Reigns, because that's what adds a lot of weight to what's currently going on with Jay. And that's what I wanted to mainly talk about here, because I don't want to sugarcoat it or anything about the match itself. I already gave my honest thoughts on it, but it's just the thing with Roman Reigns that is very interesting here, because we notice this current evolution of Jey Uso, and one of the main criticisms that a lot of people had for Jey Uso is that he's not serious. He's always eating, he's always doing this, he's always doing that. You can't really take somebody like that seriously because he's always going to be like this hype man and things like that. People, I've seen it myself online, always wanted him to actually take things into his own hands and not act like a child at times when you're reacting with the crowd and you're doing this and that. Is it fine to do that at the show? Of course, because obviously it's a different experience from us watching at home compared to the people that are there at the live arena. But with Roman Reigns in the mix and having that seed planted a couple months ago with Jay being his own person and taking things into his own hands and actually not letting people take advantage of him and tell him what to do. You saw that played out before we closed off the show, where Roman was talking to Jay saying, you know, don't let anybody get to you. You are your own person. And then you obviously saw Jay in the back that Vash alluded to earlier, or Jimmy in the back that Vash alluded to earlier, where he was showing signs of disgust, pretty much probably thinking back in his head when he talked to Jay about this the first time many years ago, when it comes to the kind of person he would become if he ever got his hands on that title. And you're obviously seeing that being displayed right here, which opens the door for Roman Reigns now in the picture again. Seems like he's going to be a reoccurring character now since he returned from doing Street Fighter and everything like that. That's pretty much going to bring things to the next level for Jay. And I had a feeling when we dived into Monday Night Raw tonight, either one or two things were going to happen. Either Roman Reigns returned, and we obviously saw what played out tonight, or if it was going to be one of those situations where Jay just walked out on Jimmy again. Those are my two honest thoughts of how this match could have ended tonight to just progress this story even further. But I like how there's something here, Roman Reigns now that he's in the picture, which is a typical thing that happens whenever Roman Reigns is involved in a storyline. Whenever he shows up, now you can advance it because now he's physically there and you could actually see how it plays out. So outside of Alpha and Alpha, when it comes to Roman and Jay, I really want to see how Jimmy is going to approach this now, because that's going to be an interesting layer for us to dive into possibly next week or a couple weeks to come, to see how he honestly feels about the situation at hand, because he probably knows deep down in his head who started it. And I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest you get a little backstage segment possibly next week with him and Roman talking and him venting out his frustration, because he obviously knows his brother isn't like this, and he probably wants to know why Roman is pushing him to do this. Maybe Roman isn't doing it on purpose. Maybe he's just trying to help him. Maybe Jay is just approaching it differently without realizing what he's doing to the people around him.
Well, and like that's a thing with it too. So like, because this whole story is based off of Jay, and just like it's that whole corruption thing. The whole reason why Jimmy cost Jay that title in the first place many moons ago was to keep him from going down this path. And we're seeing just exactly why Jimmy was right, because now that Jay's tasted that glory, he's tasted the mountaintop, he's been up there before, he needs it just like a drug. He needs to chase that dragon, and eventually he might get that dragon. And if he doesn't, well, he's going to plow through anyone and anything to get exactly that. And with Roman there, like now it's kind of like this different mentorship, because like we had this back during the bloodline where like, oh, Jay was the right hand man, he was like the next tribal chief and all that stuff, and it's like they had that, but Roman was still kind of like putting him down, like keeping him in his place, whereas now Roman's kind of seeing him somewhat as an equal, but I mean he's still like a level or two under Roman, and Roman knows that. But like now Roman can like get to the next step of his training, if you will. Like kind of like when like in Naruto, for example, like you had different stages of training when it came to like chakra control. You had like the trees that you had to climb, then you had to like learn how to walk on water, and then hey, maybe then you can learn the freaking Rasen Shuriken and all that. But like it all had to deal with what stage you were at with your own personal training and all that, and that's where Jay is right now.
Yeah, that reminds me of Nen Control too from Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah. Yeah, see, exactly. Like each stage was different. It's like, okay, you learn the basic steps of Nen. Okay, great. Let's learn what your Nen ability is, or like your affinity and all that is. Okay, great. Then you learn like the opposite of that, or like the ones that like coincide with that. Great, awesome. Oh, you're at this level. Great. Now let's kind of like build up your skills. Let's create those techniques and all that. Yes. So like, yeah, that's where Jay's at right now. And so now we can finally get like this kind of deeper mentorship again with him and Roman, and with Jimmy in the background now, he's going to be left in the dust because he hasn't even tasted singles mid-card title gold yet.
Nope.
he's never challenged for a world title, I don't think.
No.
So he hasn't even been to the stage to even try for a world title, So he's gonna end up being left in the dust, and he's gonna bring up that SummerSlam stuff again, and him and Jay are gonna have another, like, they're probably gonna have another match. Let's be honest. This is probably gonna lead to another match between the two. I don't know how the quality is gonna be because we
Hopefully better.
all saw.
Let's be
Yeah,
honest.
hopefully
Yeah.
better. Like, add a stipulation to it at least, so that way it's at least different from WrestleMania 40's little stinker. But yeah, this at least gets me excited and intrigued. Again, this is one of the few things tonight that I'm just like, oh, give me more of this, because this was some really good stuff.
I will say that I'm curious how far are we gonna
Sorry,
get
folks.
into the story, and for example, like entering also Survivor. So like, where is this in? Like, where is this gonna bleed into? Because we have had LA Knight bleed into this. Are we gonna have also Sami Zayn and other people bleed into this in the future, or we're gonna just slowly build this up and see where it goes? So like, I'm curious about that.
Right. I don't know if Sammy will get involved just because he's got his own thing going on SmackDown, unless they throw in Solo and his boys and all this again, which, again, copy paste
Vortex.
if we're gonna do that. Yeah, exactly. Like, just continuing the bloodline vortex with that. LA Knight maybe just because he's still chasing Seth, and since Seth's group is still kind of involved, I mean, that kind of leaves LA Knight involved still as well. Yeah, we'll have to see when it comes to that. I mean, this is just the next chapter now in all of this. So like we've got the beginning stages to where we could be going, and I'm looking forward to where this goes going forward, and especially for Jay's character, because again, we're adding layers to his character, something that people have been wanting
Yes.
all year, and I mean, at least with Jay now, it's like things from the past. So like the Royal Rumble win, for example, is starting to settle in a little better, because like, again, we're getting more of the layers, we're seeing where things are leading towards, and it's good stuff, and I wish WWE would just put in the same effort they do for like these storylines to everything else, but we'll get into those later on. But was there anything else you guys noticed here? Because like, again, we're just at the beginning of this next chapter when it comes to this storyline. So I know, me personally, I don't have much more to say on this.
On this topic,
Except
no.
yeah, like, except for keep up the good framing, because the framing of these shots that they're doing is really good, especially the closing shot of like Jay and Roman kind of hyping each other up and Jimmy just looking on in disgust.
Agreed.
That was a really good shot.
Agree.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's move on ahead to our world champions. Speaking of the top of the mountain, because hey, we got Crown Jewel coming up. We got to decide a new Crown Jewel champion. So Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes will battle it out once again. We had a video package earlier, which was kind of telling the history between Seth and Cody. So we were going through mainly Cody's return to WWE, some of the jabs being thrown, like, oh, like Seth, for example, saying, oh, I stayed here through thick and thin and tried to create a new future for us and brought the company up to where it was and all that. And it stopped at a certain point where Seth was just like, yeah, everything just kind of stopped at WrestleMania 40. And I wish they would actually freaking bring up the stuff with Cody and Roman teaming up, but I guess we're waiting for something to happen with that. I don't know, but I thought the video package was really good, and I want more like that, because yes, just yes, it was really good. But of course, in the ring, Seth comes out, and he's coming out alone, so good on that too. But he's got this hyper fixation on this WrestleMania 40 watch. I'm expecting something to happen in that thing, like Seth destroying it, or destroying it, quote unquote. But yeah, so Seth basically comes out. Crowd is chanting CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, and Roman Reigns. All the three chants that they know how to do when Seth's out there. Cool, neat, awesome. But Seth says he's keeping the past behind him. He's not worrying about the win-loss record between him and Cody. Instead, he's looking towards the future. And that future leads him to Crown Jewel, where he's going to be crowned the new Crown Jewel champion and lead the WWE into the future for his vision. And it goes on to saying that he sacrificed everything. He's working on building the future, building the company through thick and thin, no matter what happens. And of course, here comes Cody, who first of all, no pyro, so that was kind of weird for him. Even he acknowledged that. So cool, neat, whatever. But Cody comes out and basically questions Seth's control, saying, "Hey, Bron came over on SmackDown. Did you know about that? Did you know about Paul Heyman calling Brock Lesnar to the ring? Was that your call? Were you in control for that? I don't know. It seems like you're not in control." But Seth continues to say, "Every decision made by the Vision goes through me first." So, okay, fine, cool, whatever. But one thing that really bothered me about what Cody said, he's just like, "We don't pick the future. It's them, the crowd." And literally, he says that. And I'm sitting here at home. And I'm like, are you sure about that, Cody? Are you positive we control the future? Are you sure about that? Because I don't think the fans really have much power unless you don't go to a show and actually don't spend the money on WWE, because then they'll listen. But, they won't listen to any other criticisms because they'll just throw the criticisms aside and all that. I have a bone to pick with that line. I hated that line from Cody. That's why I want Seth to win, but that's besides the point. I like how Cody, another thing about Cody is very toxic. Because he keeps pulling the WrestleMania 40 card. You helped me at WrestleMania 40. You were my shield, blah, blah, blah. And Seth is real with him and reminds him, hey, we were never friends. You were just the lesser of two evils. I would rather have you on top than Roman. We were never friends. We're never going to be friends. I'm never going to think of you as an equal, blah, blah, like going down this hole. And again, this is the other thing on the show that's really got me hooked right here, because I want to know what's going to happen here. I want to know if Seth's actually going to win against Cody, how he's going to do that, because he's going to probably do something. He might do something more dastardly than we think, because his words towards Heyman before the main event of him having to beat Cody by any means necessary.
Yep.
Maybe Brock does show up at Crown Jewel. Maybe he does help Seth. That could be a possibility now, because Seth again is in this desperation mode. He needs to defeat Cody Rhodes. But yeah, so I love how supervillain Seth gets to here when he's just like, I'm gonna cleanse the timeline and all that stuff. I don't know. It gave me Marvel vibes with that. But I'm gonna stop rambling here. Drop. How'd you feel about this segment? The promo that we had earlier, the promo video, between like Seth and Cody and all that, going into their history. What'd you feel about this? Did you want more? Was this exactly what you needed tonight? Or was this just like the worst thing ever?
So I really liked the video package because I feel like that's necessary just in case there was people that didn't see that back then, because every single day we get new fans watching the WWE. So obviously when they revisit something like that and they show a video package going through their history, that's needed, because that moment right there and everything that was said in that promo and that little vignette when Cody was being honest and expressing what he had to do to get where he needed to get to where he is now. I mean, that's a real thing. He's not just saying that to be a part of the show, to play a character. It's something he really had to do to revive his career, pretty much start from scratch and work himself up again to get where he needs to go. He had to go through the indies. He had to go to AEW, do his thing over there, then come back, then rebuild himself. And this feud between the both of them is what really put him on the map. And he always brings up the match at the Hell in a Cell, because that was the match when he was wrestling with that torn pec. It really put him on the map, because a lot of people didn't expect him to go through that much just to win a wrestling match, because he could have just said, you know what, I pulled the pec when I was in the gym working out and everything. Any other person would probably be like, I can't do the match, it's canceled, yada yada, this, gotta work on the recovery. but he decided to go through with it, and he decided to go the extra mile, and that's why a lot of people have a lot of respect for him, because you don't typically see things like that a lot, especially when you see it like up close and personal when it comes to watching it on the television or at the live shows, seeing how purple his arm was. So the history between both of these guys is very special, and it's why I was so invested to see both of them as champion heading into this event, because there's like an actual story here when it comes to two of these guys. It's not just I became champion like 2 or 3 weeks ago, now we have a match. Like, there's actually legit shit between these guys. That's why you got the WrestleMania 40 thing being brought up. And we know it's an ongoing thing with Cody whenever he talks in his promos, but at the same time, I can understand it to a degree, because it does fall into the history of where they were in the beginning to where they are now, to pretty much build through those different layers that both of these guys have. And when it comes to Seth Rollins just talking about the promo itself, saying that he needs to beat Cody Rhodes, I do agree that he should go over in this match, because again, like we stated, it's not going to really affect Cody if he loses the match. And I'm not only bringing this up because Seth should beat Cody, because I don't want to fall in that ballpark and be like, I just want this guy to beat that guy, because it's just, when it comes from Seth's perspective, it's just something that's been eating him alive for the past couple of years, because he kind of feels like he's really nothing to Cody. Like, pretty much, you look at Superman, he has his own kryptonite. Cody's Seth's kryptonite. So whenever Cody is involved with Seth Rollins, that's pretty much Seth's kryptonite, where he just loses every time. So he needs to prove, especially with the position that he's in now, because he's right. Him and Cody are two different guys. We got to leave the past behind us and focus on who we evolved into now. And with Seth Rollins, he's a new guy. He's the world champion. He's the leader of the division. He has Bron Breakker, Bronson Reed, Paul Heyman. He has his wife alongside him with Becky Lynch. So he has a lot of things heading towards him. So in order to make an impact, in order for the story to make sense, Seth would have to win to not only make the Vision feel like a legitimate threat, because if Seth loses this match, even though it wouldn't affect him personally, I just feel like it affects the Vision a little bit more than him, especially since your leader's heading to that match to prove why the Vision are the top dogs on Monday Night Raw. But he needs that to just solidify himself and in the Vision and everything as a whole, so we know to take it seriously. And there's always going to be that part of me that I would love for Seth to do it himself, because for me, deep down, I feel like that's that's just my personal feeling, where it's like that would matter to me more, because I know he has it in him. But at the same time, as much as I hate to admit it, he might go the extra mile to secure the win. And it's definitely going to be Brock Lesnar. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to say it's a 50-50 thing with Brock Lesnar. They keep bringing him up. You had Cody bring him up. Now you have you got Paul Heyman bringing up. So it's like he's definitely going to be a deciding factor, especially when we head into War Games. And he might be the very reason that Seth Rollins wins that match. It's either Seth Rollins calling him in to do the dirty business himself, or possibly it's something that Paul Heyman does behind the scenes. Because one thing you also have to consider, and it's something that I remembered when I was watching the show and Brock Lesnar was mentioned tonight, when you had that whole thing with Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar in the back, Brock was like, let's talk. So obviously there's more to that. You're not going to just leave it open-ended and just walk away from it like it didn't happen. Obviously, there's layers to that. So it could easily be one of those things where it's like, you wash my hand, I'll wash yours. So hypothetically, maybe he helps Seth in this match, and maybe Brock gets something in return, or something along the lines of that. That's something that's definitely going to factor in. So I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if you do see Brock Lesnar heading to Australia for the Crown Jewel pay-per-view, because right after that, we got to start building to Survivor Series and what's going to transpire there. And obviously you need a little bit of time, especially once you get to October, to really build to that. So it's like they're bringing up Brock for a reason. So I feel like he might be the way for Seth to get this win. Would it be cool for Seth to do it himself? Of course. But I'm sort of leaning more on either Seth or Paul himself calling Brock. And that's pretty much where we get that result. So that's how I personally feel here with that. Like I just feel like Seth just needs it from a character perspective, but also just if you watch the show on a week-to-week basis, it just feels like they're kind of like throwing it at your face, where it's like we're not trying to make it obvious, but at the same time it is obvious that more than likely could happen.
Yeah, and I can already hear it right now as we're saying that too. Oh, but the dirt sheets said that Brock isn't on the papers until Royal Rumble next year. Yeah, how many times just this past year have they been fed lies by the WWE?
Yeah, many times.
Take anything you read like that with the biggest bags of salt, because they're trying to work us. It's the new work for pro wrestling now, is working the dirt sheets even more now to make sure that people think one thing and then another thing happens and all that. Ooh, we got you there. It just, I don't trust those for a second, at least, because I'm also I am on that train where it's like, Seth getting a clean win over Cody by himself, yes, that would be great. That would be awesome. But like Drop said, if you follow the product, that like on a weekly basis, that ain't gonna be the case come Crown Jewel. It's gonna be, hey, I'm a win no matter what. And if it means being able to summon Obelisk the Tormentor for some reason in a game of Pokemon. Wait, hold on. You just tied in Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon. How'd you do that for? Too late.
Yeah.
Obelisk already destroyed your Pikachu. Like, sorry about your bad luck, buddy.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I'm playing Yu-Gi-Oh, not Pokemon.
Yeah, like I'll bring another reference to you. It's almost like when you're reading Chainsaw Man, and then you're about to enter hell, and you reach that darkness devil. And as powerful as Makima is, she couldn't handle that darkness devil at all. That darkness devil absolutely obliterated everybody that was inside of that. That's essentially what Brock Lesnar is. Whoever you pin Brock Lesnar against, he's going to absolutely obliterate you. Doesn't matter if you got a little W over him, Cody. I mean, he's heading your way, and I mean, he's a tough. He's not a tough cookie, because he is, and he's just gonna rip you to shreds.
Yeah,
that's a little trump card there that they're more than likely gonna use.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. He is basically their nuclear bomb.
Yeah,
like all they have to do is press the Brock button, the Brock button, and he's there. As long as you have enough money, though, that's the case. You got to make sure you can pay that kind of bounty and all that. But Vash, what did you think of the segment here and video segment and just everything leading up to Cody and Seth's next clash here at Crown Jewel?
I just noticed that we have the 3 M&Ms. We have the but instead of the M's to the B's, we have the Bron Breaker, we have the Bronson Rhea, and then we have the Brock Lesnar. We have the Bros. I really like what both spoke about, the theories or the speculation, the possibilities that we may have Brock Lesnar from Crown Jewel. I see those type of speculations as well. I agree. It just depends how it's executed, because they say that they don't want to have Brock Lesnar, and he's come here for pain. He even spoke to Paul Heyman, like you said, that, hey, we need to talk. Like Seth Rollins gave the expression that he didn't give the order, but expressed that he did. So it's like, hey, did you really? Did you didn't? Which one is it? So I agree that Seth right now maybe is not giving the orders, or maybe Paul is doing the orders on his behalf without him being there. Like, hey, you make the decisions, even if I don't agree with them, you made them by your approval. So I'm really curious to see if that's the case. And lastly about this is that what Job said earlier, that I love these type of vignettes, this type of video package when it comes to Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins, because it feels like they were talking to another because of the editing, but they were technically bouncing off each other, but what each other were saying, and it felt very cinematic. Kind of remind me of that promo work of Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns at the football field, where they had like a 4K or 8K camera, getting the quality, feeling that aura, hockey falling off each other, and you felt the same thing with Seth Rollins and Cody here. You felt their presence. One, they was hungry for it because they want to stay champ. They want to get that 4-0. The other one, like, hey, I don't give a fuck about a 3-0. I'm gonna start my new chapter. We're here for the forthcoming, and we're gonna get that 1-3, and we're gonna keep it pushing. And I really like that he came by himself, like you guys mentioned, telling Becky, which we are going to talk about the Becky stuff later, because I don't know about, but I have complaints about that, because some of those shit pissed me off. Not really more about Becky, but I like how he spoke to Becky. Hey, you got your shit together, you're good. And Becky answered, did her thing. But then, like I said, when got asked, like, hey, you need me to come out with you, babe? Like, hey, you want me to, like, for emotional support, more support, whatever it may be. You need me there? Like, nah, I need to do this by myself, for me. And like, it shows that, hey, as individualities, as partners, they're great, success and everything, but you still need to handle your own shit together that you choose to do. And he said, hey, I got to do this myself. This is a hurdle I got to pass over. So I really enjoyed that when it comes to character for Seth Rollins. And I understand where you're coming from, Walker's, about Cody's line saying that the fans make up of it. The only reason I let him slide with that is because of the last year stuff, when we heard the "We Want Cody" chants when it came to The Rock and the Roman Reigns, and the audience technically took over the story and pushed The Rock out and put Cody back in. So that's why I let it slide from that line of phrase saying that, hey, the fans are the ones that make up to it, to an extent. So that's why I let it slide.
My one rebuttal to that was last year.
Agree.
Yeah.
That's why I let it slide, because it's still
Like-
recent within his character and story. Like, hey, he's still part of that from the recent year. If this was like 2026, 2027, I'm like, yo, bro, that's like 3-4 years ago now. You gotta let it go. You gotta move on to a new type of phrase, a catchphrase. Like the "We Want Cody" chance, that was like a couple years ago. That has died down. Being last year, that's why I let it slide on mine, because you do got a point. But I just let it slide because it's literally within the past year some change. So it's still recently new.
Yeah. Well, the reason I don't let it slide is because, and here's the thing, this kind of ties into how we kind of led into talking about Raw tonight, because WrestleMania 40 was a bar. They set a bar right there.
They did.
And they haven't really come close to that bar in almost anything in the past year.
Nope.
But they keep wanting to reference WrestleMania 40. They keep wanting to do that. They keep wanting to like recreate that lightning in a bottle, but they can't. Why? I don't know why. Maybe part of that is some backstage stuff. Maybe they need better writers, or like a better producer thing or something. I really don't know. I mean, I can have conspiracy theories all day, especially when it came to earlier this year with my thought on, hey, Netflix is ruining everything, or some people could say, oh, TKO is doing anything. I don't know. Something is just not clicking where they're not able to do what they can. Because here's the thing, even a year ago, I was excited to watch WWE because you had all the stuff with like Cody and Roman teaming up. You had Punk and Drew still going at it. And even like the setup towards War Games and all that was actually still compelling stuff. But then just a year later, and we can't even get close to that?
I get where you're coming from.
Team? Like,
I get where you're coming from. Like, it feels very lackluster. It doesn't feel like very compelling. And also, it feels like more, for example, when you could tell the pick and choosing of the writers, or like the more in-depth story when it comes to Seth and Cody, well written, to the point, you feel the emotional. To other characters within the show Raw, they feel very one-dimensional. They're not layers. They feel very flat, and you don't feel the connectivity. It reminds me of the line that when Paul Heyman says, "What inning are we on for Bloodline?" It could be 5th inning, 6th inning, plus because we're in a home stretch. Bloodline story, we have the Bloodline type of family to continue telling stories with that. However, when it comes to Triple H, I've noticed that now, like Walken said, as much as people don't want to sugarcoat it or not, that we have with the Netflix that is about highlights, moments, reels, shorts, that 1 minute clip of the big moment that somebody came at. But was it still kept up? Was it still the hype train continue? It's all about the moment. And that's why I feel like it's been very lackluster. Where it's not like, hey, where's the long-term story booking? Because that has kind of fallen off the map. There's a few things that we have questioned throughout the past couple of 9 months. Hey, the New Day, yeah, got fumbled because of the heel work. Hey, Gracie and Waller and Austin Theory, like all these little small type of nuggets. Where's the long-term storybook? And when you talk so highly of it, it just falls flat.
Well, the long-term storytelling is there. Part of the problem with that long-term storytelling is the fact that it takes too long to get to that
Yeah.
spot. Like, you kind of cook a little too much and your steak ends up getting just a little too burnt. It's just like, well, not everybody likes burnt steak. Some people like it just a little bit less, Like, I at least want to chew my food, not crunch it. You know what I mean? So I don't know, just those low that gets into a whole other side tangent on WWE and all that stuff in their product right now currently. But like, I mean, for the most part though, this segment at least was still a highlight from Raw. I still thought it was really good, really
Great.
well said. I mean, especially from Seth, because you can really tell Seth's just distaste of Cody right now, and just like this anger, frustration, mainly in himself, because like he's probably doubting himself if he could even pull off a win on Cody. That's why, like, again, his words towards Paul Heyman before that main event, by any means necessary, I have to win. Like, he's just so upset. You even have Becky asking him, "Hey, are you all right?" And he keeps staring at his watch, just keeps staring at that WrestleMania 40 thing. And I really want them to talk about that. I want them to talk about 2024 and what happened that whole year from the start of Mania season to after all that. Because like, if it wasn't for Seth involving himself in Cody's business, he could have been world champion longer last year. He probably wouldn't have gotten injured. He probably would have. He would have had a better WrestleMania 40 in that case. But I don't know. I don't want to beat the horse dead enough as it is, because I'm hoping we get a little bit more reference, at least from Seth's perspective when it comes to that. But from two good things on the show, let's talk about the mid card stories. Heavy on the mid. And I mean that in the derogatory term of it, because some of this stuff is not hitting, at least for me. Like, I can't speak for my co-hosts, but some of this stuff's not hitting, whether it's from like performances or in-ring action. Just, it's not doing it for me. So we're gonna start with Rhea Ripley starting off the night, who, I mean, she just comes out there. She wants to teach Asuka and Kyrie lessons. She thought, hey, we could maybe squash this in the ring. Apparently not. We have to do this the harder way. Io comes out. She's like, look, I get it. They're still kind of family, so it's kind of hard for me to really do anything about that. We get a nice little video package from Asuka, which I thought was really good. That part was really good. And we get a blindside attack from the Kabuki Warriors onto Rhea. Io's struggling to go back in there and save Rhea and all that, but she gets in there eventually, eats some mist for her troubles, and Rhea gets beaten down. Hey, remember last week when pretty much the same thing happened? Just copy and paste, except, switch Io and Rhea. And like literally like a shambles kind of thing from Law. Like that's literally what happened with this. But I mean, there are a couple other things that happened later in the night, but I'm gonna let my co-host kind of hit on those things. So everything that happened with RhIyo, as some people like to call them. Vash, what do you think of just everything going on. I want to start this more with like I guess a positive note because I have other things I want to say, but I want to hear from you guys first.
I expected this crown jewel match, one thing, because when we've been speculating, I think about this in the beginning of September, I believe we're saying, hey, you know, a match of them was going to come forth. We thought it was going to happen at WrestlePalooza. Thank God it didn't. Or maybe it could have actually saved the event itself more than it could have been. But I'm glad for crown jewel because crown jewel is going to be a great match. And to see this as a 2-2, great. If this actually becomes their tag team name, it will be hilarious and great shirts for the merch. However, when it comes to Io Sky acting, I'm okay with it. I saw some people, some content creators having some complaints about it. I saw some people being bothered by it. And for somebody like myself who consumes Korean, Japanese content, this kind of works for her style, how the way she acted. So I feel like she did her comfort zone with what she was portraying. Did it look awkward compared to the on screen? Yes, but I feel like that was the goal for her character. Like she's in this awkward, not knowing who to choose between family and Rhea having to have gone through this. So she's speaking from experience with the trauma of her own, with Judgment Day and who to trust, not to trust, and being betrayed by Dominik and the people around her that have been called as family. So that's why she speaks from experience, which is really good to hear. And Rhea is speaking from the bottom of her heart to Io. Io, I like what Walker's brought up. Very good vignette or video package when it came to Asuka and Kairi. But I love how Asuka was speaking for Kairi. She's speaking as she's the one that brought the international Japanese girls over here and had the success after. So she's taking that, hey, I'm your mentor. Come back and be my student like Kairi is. And Kairi is just being that shy, monotone, like quiet, like yes, I agree with. Come back home. So I love how they're playing that. They've been switching more to the roles, and somehow Io has a picture of all three of them together, which in my head I'm like, it makes sense. But in my head, I'm like, I thought you would have also had like one with Bayley in it as damage control. But for story purposes, it makes sense. Yeah, have your own three. I'm really enjoying this. I'm really curious to see what's the end off. Like, what's the end goal for this fuse? Is this for Io and Kairi to go against Asuka and to build the match of Kairi versus Asuka? Or is this going to be something to get Kairi over for the audience because Asuka's over, Io's over, Kairi is not fully yet? So are we trying to do that for the end goal, or are we trying to have the people match that they have been asking for, Asuka versus Io at WrestleMania? So I wonder what's the end goal for the next couple months. Where are we going to head to that directions? If you guys have some thoughts about it too, I would love for you to chime in. But I do agree with the copy and paste that, hey, we just had the same thing. It started differently, but still had the same end result. But now we finally have one little small progress, which is Io say, hey, you and me against them at Crown Jewel. So that felt very emotional, impactful, that Rhea like, hey, I can have somebody you could trust. I hope Io don't betray Rhea, or Rhea don't betray her at the end, because then it will make this trade-off feel very like lackluster. What was this purpose for Io to join her back? Hopefully, I just want to say this right now. Like, hopefully that's not the case, or thrown off. Like, hopefully, like, you know, the company don't try to do a twist. But that's my overall thoughts, or positive. Like Walkers would say, like, Vash, did you bring your positive vibe? And hopefully I did give the positive injection to it.
Word. Okay. So drop. How'd you feel? Do you feel similarly to Vash? Do you feel differently? Do you feel in the middle? Are you gonna give me the old bar with it, or thumbs up? Or is it gonna get the old Batista thumbs down? What you got for this overall just segment, I guess, or this overall story progression tonight between the Kabuki Warriors, Rhea and Io?
So it was exactly how it was last week. Like I do on the show, I don't really like sugarcoating anything, regardless how I feel about a certain person. But it was literally the same thing we saw that closed out Monday Night Raw last week. So it's no different here, really. I mean, all in all I was really looking forward to, honestly, is just getting the match confirmed, because we just needed that seal of approval so we know that it's happening at Crown Jewel. So That's all I really looked for in this segment. And the stuff with Io didn't necessarily bother me because, I mean, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. She's she's not a, when it comes to somebody like her compared to somebody that's been, if you get what I mean, it's gonna come off a different way because of where she's from. So when it comes to her expressing herself in a certain way, when it comes to her mannerisms or how she's acting in a certain way, I might come off to some people for it to be awkward. And I would have to agree with Vash when it comes to the whole situation and hand she's in. It is going to come off that way. I did see people, looking at how Io was here, but at the same time, she's not really used to being in segments when it comes to expressing herself in that way or really having mic time to do that. That's basically how I could really bring that up without going any further. That's just how it is. It goes for a lot of people there that are involved into situations like that. So that didn't necessarily bother me really. And then having the whole thing with Kyrie in the back, I'm just kind of glad that she told Kyrie to like fuck off in that situation because it was needed because of what occurred earlier, what occurred last week. Because Kyrie, as much as she tries to look over it herself, she still participates in these acts when it comes to attacking Rhea or attacking Io, doing this or that. So it's like, I want to come and talk to you about what happened or about our relationship and everything. You might be able to look at that differently if she refused to do what she did, or maybe she thought about it, but she just decided to walk away or whatever. But she contributed into everything that led up to this point. So it's kind of hard for Io to look past that. So I'm glad she was able to tell her to go away. She could focus on what she's going to do so they can move forward, have this match at Crown Jewel, and get everything situated. And I'm also with you. I don't want Io to turn on Rhea there. I don't really think it makes any sense at all because it would make everything convoluted. Because why would you have somebody do all these devious things to you and then you just turn on the one person that's trying to have your back? I mean, she's very over right now. And I just feel like this is a common theme in WWE. If something works, don't mess around with it. Because it took you so hard to get there to begin with, and you're just going to rip it underneath the rug and just do what you need to do just because you want to make a point, even though half the time when it comes to the decisions they make, doesn't really make that much of sense. So it's like, just leave it alone. Let them do their thing. She really needs this to evolve her character a little bit more so she can build that backbone moving forward. So when she runs into situations like this again, she knows how to prepare for it. And I get the whole thing that they're trying to do here. They're trying to make it feel realistic in a sense where it's like, if you've been in a situation where you've been portrayed by family and you look at Io and her situation at hand, she knows these people for years and she doesn't really know what to do because it is a situation that people deal with where they're involved in situations like this. And even if something bad happens, they still feel a certain way about that person because they've been involved in their life for so long. So I get that whole approach that they're doing with that. But other than what I mentioned there, just kind of glad that we just got this match confirmed and we can move forward with it.
Yeah. That's the one positive that, at least for me, that we at least got the match confirmed for Crown Jewel. Here's my thing. Here's my thing with it, okay? Because it's like Io got over with her in-ring work, not her promo work. Mainly her in-ring work, mainly the way she was in ring, not just how good of a worker she was, but how she engaged the audience that way. That was her communication style. That was her strong suit, and it sucks because when you're in a position like this, it's like, okay, well, we got to do like this, the whole melodrama thing and all that. Like, I get that aspect. Literally during this whole opening segment, all I could think about was that episode of South Park where they were poking at this about pro wrestling, making it like the plays and all that, or like an opera theater going on and all that. Literally, that's what's going through my mind the whole time. And I'm just sitting here thinking, I want to watch Io wrestle. I don't want to watch her struggle to get through a scene like this, because I'm sorry. Like, I know she's trying. I know she is, but this is not her strong suit. And why would you put somebody in that spot when it's not their strong suit, when it's the weakest part of them? Why would you do that to them on national television of all places? Like, that's just, it's not good at all, and it just does not make for good segments like this. The Asuka part with the backstage part, that was fine. They were able to like go back and forth between their native language and their second language, like, and it worked out really well. you know I don't know what it is that's just not clicking for me with all this, because there's a lot of it that just feels really cringy, and I'm just sitting here like, this is just not good. Just fight each other. Just wrestle. Just do the thing that you're called. I know you're calling yourself sports entertainment and all that, but there's more to entertainment than forcing people to be something that they're not. Like, and that's just my whole thing when it comes to these women. It's just like, they're a lot better in the ring than they are on the mic. Let them do more in the ring than on the mic, please. I beg of you, because like, I can't get behind this melodrama stuff.
Yeah.
I really can't. I tried for weeks and weeks. I tried to get behind it. I can't now. I legitimately can't. I literally roll my eyes at it anymore. Like, I feel just this internal cringe with it, where it's just like, why am I even watching this? Like, just fight. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
It gets a bit slow. I get it. Like, you want more out of it, and now we have become this sports
it's not
entertainment.
even slow. It's bad. It's bad. It's not even slow. It's bad acting. Don't say it's slow. It's not slow. It's bad acting. Don't put somebody that's a bad actor up to do an acting. Don't do that. Like, that's what it is. Like, it's not slow. It's bad. Like, it's just straight up dog crap. And I'm tired of the dog crap just being put on my TV. It makes me not even want to tune into your product, because it's bad. Like, it's like, God, man, it's bad. Just say it's bad. Don't dance around it. Just say it's bad. Like, it's fine to say something's bad.
100%. I agree with that.
Oh my God. It just do better. Like, know what the strength is to the people that you have, the tools that you have. Play
Agreed.
upon those strengths and make a good product. Don't force something, because that's what most of this feels, is forced. And I don't like things that are forced. Like, okay, the part with Io and Kyrie in the back, that was fine. That was
natural.
good. That exactly. Thank you. It was natural. It felt natural. It felt human. It felt like two people, especially one in Kyrie's situation, where it's like she's kind of succumbing to Asuka because she doesn't want to fight against Asuka. Yeah, she doesn't want to fight against Asuka because she wants to keep everybody together as their little tight-knit family and all that. But
In the ring,
Asuka's
though,
kind of dangerous. Yeah.
but in the ring, when we had Io say speaking her native tongue and acting out the scene, that felt awkward. That's where I felt it was cringy, where it wasn't executing right.
yeah, I mean, if you want me to be honest, you can say that about a lot of talent on there. I can say that about Asuka, Kyrie, Io, Shinsuke Nakamura. I can even say that about Stephanie Vaquer. I could say that about Julia. All of them. They all
Tiffany Stratton, I'll throw her in there too, because she doesn't really feel natural anymore. Like, and I feel like that comes from like the whole Charlotte thing that happened.
Yeah. That's just a typical thing with a lot of them, because I mean, especially with the Japanese talent, as much as I want to be nice and give them a chance, it's best to just suit them from what they're good at, because coming from their background and their heritage with how they do things over there, that's typically what they do more of is the wrestling thing. You barely see them have well, actually no, I can't say that because they're in their territory, so they can talk fluently over there, so it's different from us. But you get what I mean. It's more about the wrestling thing here because I mean I get what they're trying to do, but it's like have somebody like Rhea that has experience to tell parts of the story, and then if you want person A and person B to perform an action or slap someone across the face, punch them, hit their finisher, whatever the case may be, just do that. That's it.
Yeah.
Because
agree, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean at least with Rhea's part and all this, hers part has been fine. You know, like she's been fine. Like, maybe a little bit on the I wish you could be more aggressive kind of terms, but I think mainly most of that comes when like Asuka's around. Because I mean she literally told Asuka to go to hell tonight.
Yeah.
And I don't remember like hearing that being told for the most part in WWE. So I'm just like, okay, yeah, good on your Rhea with that. But and I get it, learning curves and all that stuff. It's just like when somebody's just not as good at something and you keep throwing them out to do it, I feel bad for the talent because I know how the good they are in other aspects. And it's just like I would rather that be showcased than something that they continue to struggle with.
Yeah, I mean it sucks to say it sometimes, but at the same time you kind of have to come to your senses and say it. Like even when I watch an episode of NXT and I see somebody like Obafemi, who's full package, who knows how to wrestle, has the charisma, knows how to talk, knows how to go toe to toe with somebody on the mic, but then you have these other people in the back that can't really talk at all, but they're good at the ring. I mean, just let them do that. I mean, I can throw Lola Vice in there too. I still remember when she had that feud with Roxanne. When Roxanne was champion, she was forcing herself a little bit too much to be emotional, talking about her story, where she came from, what led her to this point, and it's on a compilation of like cringe promo segments you could find on YouTube or TikTok. So it's like, just let people like that do what they need to do. I can at least give them some benefit of the doubt to an extent because they are in the training performance center, so I could sort of let it slide a little bit, but at the same time, after a while when you notice things, it's just best to be cautious about what you're doing.
Yeah. Just I mean, remember how good it felt when and again going back to WrestleMania 40 where the bar was set for this new era and all that. Remember when Michael Cole literally said on commentary, I love professional wrestling, and it felt so good to hear Michael Cole say that.
Yeah, so
And look a year later, exactly. It
too
again it
comfortable.
just goes into that natural thing. Yeah,
It-
they're too comfortable, and they're going back down that whole sports entertainment route, which don't get me wrong, a lot of it can be fun. It can be great. But
I mean,
when you start thinking of yourself more of one thing, you lose what made you really good. You lose what brought the crowd in.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't know. It's just you see the potential and you just get so upset that like they don't capitalize on that potential, you know?
Yeah.
And then you get conversations like tonight, you know?
Yeah, I mean, this
Oh,
isn't
God.
going to be the only time we're going to be revisiting this, because that's basically my thoughts for the rest of the show.
Yep. Because hey, the Judgment Day, they have a bunch of shenanigans going on tonight, such as dirty ass Dom taking on Rusev for his IC title, where the whole match is just Rusev bullying Dom the whole
Pretty
time.
much,
I mean,
yeah.
he was pretty much on top, except for like one moment where Dom he rolled out of the ring, pushed Rusev into the steps, so that gave him a little bit of a opening, a little bit of a hope spot, and all that. Tried to pull an Eddie with the title, didn't really work out. And as the ref was taking it taking the belt out of the ring. Rusev gets hit in his Bulgarian brutes and is rolled up for the pin win for Dominik Mysterio, retaining his IC title. I mean, at least Dom was out there by himself, and he did it by himself. I'll
Yeah.
say that much. Like,
Yeah.
at least the cheating, fine. 'Cause, he's still a heel, even though he's getting like these massive cheers and all that. He at least did it on his own. No Los Americanos, which don't worry, we'll get to them later on. No Judgment Day because Finn and JD went to the back. So yeah, he did it on his own. So it's like, okay, on one hand, great, you did it on your own, fantastic. On the other hand, eh, like it's not really moving me unless Rusev actually does end up beating Dom in the end, which
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. This just did not move me tonight.
Yeah, so when it comes to this match, I sort of felt like the only way I could realistically see Dom win this match is seeing what he did to win it in a realistic point of view. Because outside of somebody coming out, which didn't make sense given what happened last week because of how he rubbed people off different way when it comes to JD McDonough or Finn Balor, didn't really make any sense in the slightest for them to come out. I
Mhm.
obviously, Raquel and Roxanne had their hands on Bayley and Lyra tonight, which we'll obviously talk about after. But when it comes to what Dom was doing tonight, that was the only way I could really see him winning the match. Other than that, Rusev should have won the match. He should have became IC champion, which
Mhm.
is honestly what I wanted here, because this is an ongoing issue I have with the Judgment Day. I get the whole thing where it's like you want to have power, you want to have titles on you to make yourself look strong and everything. I get that. That makes a lot of sense. But at the same time, it's like I'm just not really feeling anything from this Dom IC title reign anymore. I get what they did in the beginning when it comes to have him having that moment at WrestleMania, and that's the thing. That's a moment that's supposed to feel special when he comes back and he runs back into the ring and he celebrates with the crowd. That's supposed to be a moment that you can look back on. That would probably be one of the positives I can realistically take out of that WrestleMania, because that was a good moment for him. But looking from WrestleMania to where we are now, when it comes to September 29th of 2025, I mean, I'm not really feeling anything with him. I feel like he needs to drop this title soon. He already has a main title, so if it was really up to me, I would just get rid of the one that's mid, mid, quite literally a mid card
Mhm.
title, and focus on what you have now. I mean, Dragon Lee already has his eyes set on it, so that's already a challenger that Dom has in the future for that AAA championship. So it's like just focus on being a
Mhm.
world champion, give people the IC title on Raw that I can actually give us some good matches, some good storylines potentially out of that. I mean, Sheamus just
Mhm.
completely disappeared on Earth. I don't really know what's going on with him. We don't know if we're ever going to go
Yeah.
back to that story with him in the IC title. So it's like that honestly could have been a good segue to having Rusev go on a run for a little bit for a couple months, and then Sheamus comes back around the time when you're supposed to building towards WrestleMania, and then maybe you could have potentially built to that, and then Sheamus could have finally got his crowning moment there. Well, I don't really know what they're doing here with the IC title picture, because that's the funny thing, because when Gunther had it, it felt like a special title, and when Sammy had it, it felt special for those couple months, but ever since then, it started, it was going from here, rising up when Gunther had it, because Gunther did tremendous things with that title, and then when it got to Sammy, it wasn't as, it was at like Gunther, but it was still good. But then ever since then, it just
Mhm.
fell down, and it doesn't feel as special as special anymore. And that's unfortunate, because the IC title outside of the world title has always been valued as a pretty cool championship to have outside of being the big dogs, the world title on a Friday or Monday night. But I mean, I feel like doing something a little bit unpredictable where you had Rusev, well, I can't really say unpredictable. You get what I mean? Like doing something a little bit different and
Mhm.
having Rusev win and do what he needs, because he definitely needs to eat good. He definitely needs to get a big prize too for all the hard work he's doing. Because again, like I said, that was the only way I could really see him winning against Rusev, was just being a cheaty bastard, pretty much. But outside of that, I mean, there was no way I saw Dom winning this match, and it just felt like an easy W for Rusev after maybe Dom getting that 1 or 2 close calls, and then Rusev, which I kind of had a little hope for towards the end to win, but he didn't.
Yeah. Yeah, like as soon as that ref turned around and died by him, I'm like, oh, you're gonna kick him in the nuts, aren't you? Yep, there it is. I'm surprised he didn't go for a frog splash after that. I figured he would at least have done that,
Yeah.
but no, no. I guess just kick to the dick is enough to take you down. Which, I mean, Rusev. Hopefully you don't take more than just one, because that sucked for Vegeta when he had to take on Metal Cooler. And if you know that reference, hey, thank you for that. But Vash,
Ugh.
any thoughts on this icy title match? Where dirty ass Dom tried to pull a good old Latino heat, but failed at that part.
I'm mixed on this, like you guys said. Dom winning, I didn't expect him to win, chat. I honestly thought he was going to lose. Rightfully so, he should have, because, hey, he's versing the guy that screams like almost like Bron Breakker. Like, this man, Rusev, was like, ah, ah, ah. A few times I was like, yo, Tasmanian Devil, that you?
Yeah.
That's what I felt like, yo.
Oh my God, he
Rusev was
kind of
going
looks
crazy.
like him.
Yeah, bro has the energy of it. I'm like,
Yeah.
yo, you good?
He's the Bulgarian Devil. I
Oh my
need
God,
fan art
yes.
now. I need fan art of Rusev as the Tasmanian Devil and just call it the Bulgarian Devil.
I love this. Yes, chat, you heard it here. Clip it right now and make the art. We'll love to see it. Hey, but when it comes to Dom, no, he did. He did. He tried to throw the chair, aka the title. He fall down. The ref was looking at him like, my guy. And then I saw you. What the fuck you doing? You get your ass up, start fighting, start wrestling. And that's what I felt like. It felt like a comedic show. It sucks that Rusev is not getting the better treatment by Dom. And it
Yeah.
sucks that, chat, when he went and won the AAA title, we saw Dom actually wrestle, actually produce good moves on set. In the ring, I meant. He put the good moves. He did the 619 good stuff. When it comes to him in the WWE product, it feels too comedic. And we hear that he's the best luchador of all time. Even Finn Balor said it during the commercial break and said, hey, we didn't go help him out because you know why? Because he's the best luchador of all time. So we didn't need to go out. We didn't need to support them. And don't worry, Chuck, because we'll talk more about them because I have more complaints about their stupid-ass titles, a.k.a. props. But even Finn Balor, even being petty, spiteful, whatever, whichever word you want to use, because Dom wants to be all cocky as he is. And like all three of us said, we thought Rusev could have won. This was a full-on W, high diff, if y'all like, y'all like to compete of when it comes to the battle, high diff, he would have beat Dom's ass. But that one nut to the knee or whatever it was of the leg part that hit it to the balls, it actually executed him out to be like, hey, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. That one nut just got you knocked down.
Yeah, that thing that you brought up.
Wait, Marcus, I think you're muted.
Oh yeah, you're muted.
We do not hear you. Is it me? Right?
No, I can't hear him either.
I'll keep it going.
Okay.
Drive, go ahead. So tell me what you think of what I said. Because hey, I do agree with what you said that Rusev should have won. Dom, he should lose his IC title, like you mentioned. 100%, we should already move on from this IC title. Penta, during the commercial break, even said, hey, I'm going after the IC title. We have Dragon Lee going after the AAA. So if Penta wins it, IC title, I'm okay with this. Let it go. I would love to see Penta or Rusev go for the title either. But Dom right now with IC title, it's like a fucking prop. I believe they said it 165 days since WrestleMania, and he has had only 6 title defenses.
Yeah, that's the That's actually a good thing you brought up because I was watching it regularly with like the ads and stuff through Netflix. But since you did bring up Penta, that goes back to what I said before, where it's like there's a lot of
Hello?
people.
Okay, good.
Yes.
All right,
Oh yeah, we can hear you now.
that was weird.
There's a lot of
that
people.
was weird. I had to. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh.
Sorry.
Oh, no, that's fine. I was saying, since you brought up Penta, Vash, it goes to what I said before. There's already other people lined up that want that title. I just feel like we're stalling here with Dom. Like, I really don't know what the end game is here with Dom. Like, I don't really think there's anything I can think of at the top of my head that makes sense for like an end goal to be for Dom. Like, I'm starting to even come to the point I don't really care if Finn takes the title off of him, really, because I feel like the bigger picture now is just splitting them up because they don't get along, and then they could figure out what routes they want to do towards the end. But it's like Penta wants it, Rusev wanted it, unfortunately wasn't able to get it, and I'm pretty sure there's other people on the show that I absolutely love to get another shot at that. So it's like, switch things up.
I did see a cool theory. I don't know how you guys will feel about this. Not cool theory. A cool type of booking. Honestly, it's not the best, but in theory, we had John Cena come on Raw. I think in the next couple weeks is coming. Win over the IC title from Dominik. He becomes a Grand Slam, and then for him to go, I think he has 2-3 matches, and he loses it. Or he just vacates it. And one of the matches in the next couple weeks that he could also fight Sheamus, because Sheamus, he hasn't had the SC title. So if he loses to Sheamus, it will be a cool Grand Slam for both of them. The only thing is that I don't want it to be like a freebie for Sheamus. For John, I don't mind because he has done a lot for the company, him being a Grand Slam, and then he could vacate it at the end. I have no issues with that. So that possibility would be cool. If they're waiting for this possibility to wait until John comes on Raw in the next 2 weeks and then he loses it because John said, you know what, I want to fight against somebody here right now. You know what, Dom, I want to size you up or something. And then he goes for the title and wins it, then becomes IC, and then becomes Grand Slam. If that was something they're waiting for, I'm okay if they pull the trigger. But if they're not, I agree with y'all. What the fuck are they doing? Because we need something a bit more valid for something other than just prop being handled.
Yeah, I agree with you on that because, I mean, we got to do something here because I get tired of seeing the same thing.
Can y'all hear me?
Every single week.
I don't care. Sorry. I had to throw my mic because fuck that piece of shit. I don't care how I sound right now because we're gonna do this. So yeah, there we go. That's how this night's going. People, great, awesome. This shitty ass Raw, shitty ass fucking product. All right, let's keep going. Sorry about that. I'll say this. At least Dom has defended his title since winning it. At least he's defended it more than once. Take the freaking titles off the Judgment Day right now. Do something.
I think someone mentioned
John
that
Cena
too.
thing.
Nothing actually mentioned. Someone mentioned that tonight too, I believe.
It was Braxton. Braxton during TV said like, "Hey, you guys have only defended the titles 2 times since you won it, and I believe Finn
same shit they did the first time too."
They try to show us like, "Hey, are you trying to focus on who we are, or we are the tag teams with the word was?" I'm like, Finn, can you answer the fucking question though? Because he got a fucking point.
Well, like the biggest thing too, you literally have the New Day being like, we want a title shot. Adam Pearce, the hell are you doing? You literally have contenders right there. You have champions that aren't defending. It baffles the mind. I don't get it. I don't get what they're doing. Why they keep spinning the wheels like this. It's dumb. It's stupid. It shouldn't be this hard. It's really not. Literally, Joe Schmo with a damn PS4 can get on a 2K game and book a better freaking tag team like title match or whatever, or title story better than WWE right now, because at least he's trying. At least Joe Schmo's trying. Other than whatever WWE's doing right now. It's just oh my, it's so asinine. I don't get it. I really don't get it, man.
Yeah. Read Itchy the Witch, guys. Don't watch this show.
Yeah. Read Itchy to Witch, read Ranger Reject, read and watch One Piece. All these are better than WWE currently.
And watch Invincible Fight Girl.
Read JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Yeah, stay tuned for Chainsaw Man tomorrow because it's going to be a big, heavy chapter.
Yeah. Like, oof. Oh my god, heavier than a freaking Snorlax falling during Super Smash Brothers. I don't know.
Oh shit, that
Judgment
thing
Day sucks.
freaked me out as a kid.
It did. It was so weird, just coming off the screen like, whoa. That's right. Snorlax always is on my desk. I don't care. Fight me, whatever. Bayley had a fight tonight though against Raquel Rodriguez. You see that fun little transition there? Wasn't that great? Wasn't that awesome? Wasn't that fantastic? Good, awesome, great. Before she gets to the ring though, she's super nervous about facing Raquel. She wants Lyra out there again, but Lyra telling a bold-faced lie, being like, "Oh, I don't think you deserve a second chance," blah blah blah. So, all right, fine. Bayley's going out there alone, and I mean, Bayley does fine, a little bit of there, but the match is fine. Raquel ends up winning. Okay, no, what is up with the refs anymore? Okay, we're gonna go on another rant here about the refs.
From Friday.
Between the one ref who's been stopping like Randy Orton and the Drew McIntyre doing their moves.
Oh, it's the same person?
No. This was Jessica Carter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but just refs in general right now. Between those two refs, between what happened on Friday with the whole Nia Jax thing, no matter what side of the coin you're on, it's not even just like having bad. Like you can have mediocre at best peripheral vision. How did you not see Roxanne literally get in the ring
that was awkward
and attack Bayley? How? You're telling me the ref, it's your job to watch the match, to watch everybody going. And Tom McIntyre's just like, oh, she was busy looking. No, she might have been busy, but that angle that she was at, nah, she's seen Raquel coming into that ring and blinding Bayley. But hey, what do I know, right? I'm just a consumer of your product that continues to just keep going downhill more and more with your mid card. At least your main events are fine. At least your main event picture is fine. But I mean, that's whatever, I guess. But Raquel wins the match. They start a post-match beat down, and out comes Lyra to save Bayley. Remember not giving her second chance? Well, I guess we're giving her a second chance. Cool, great, awesome, fantastic. Judgment Day's taken down, and Lyra and Bayley standing tall. Looks like they might be friends. I don't know. I'm still gonna give this story a chance, but it's leaning towards the I really don't care tier of I don't know. Maybe it's just my negative feelings towards everything else, but I gave it a shot.
I'll keep it short, if you don't mind, Joe, because honestly, I have really short thoughts. When it comes to this Bayley, do say that I'm happy Raquel's getting the spotlight that she deserved. She's put in effort and she's looking strong. So hey, again, we have said it over the past couple of months that she has taken the words of Kevin Nash to heart, and she has learned very well how to be the better wrestler that she has shown. However, when it comes to storyline, Bayley is in his vortex in the weird, awkwardly acting of bipolar character that you love or hate. Lyra is even confused, and she's kind of a bit flabbergasted. It's kind of rinse and repeat from last week, just with a twist. Instead of slapping her down, you are befriending her, and then she say, "Hey, let's go fight them in the back," and you don't continue that storyline either. So I don't got much to say other than that, because it is literally copy and paste of what could have been and what it was to keep it back from continuing, which is a storyline that is it depends if it's going to be entertaining or not. It depends on the execution. The current actresses that we're seeing doing it right now, they're pulling the weight, but it's not hooking it too much for me as a viewer.
Yeah, just copy paste shambles. That's literally what this was. Copy paste shambles.
Yep, and we're getting the same thing next week when it comes to Lyra going up against Roxanne again. But I'll get into that after I talk about this right here. So this whole thing going on in Bayley, I don't really care for it. It's not really doing anything for me. Like, I'll admit it was a little bit intriguing at first when it came to her going back to her old self, and then when she turned heel, and then everything being that point. But it's like, other than that, just seeing like the acting and how she's presenting herself on television, like she's Jimmy Neutron trying to get some sort of brain blast in the show, where she's doing those little things with her fingers and stuff like that. It's like, I can't really get behind it anymore, because it's like, okay, she's going to attack Lyra 1 week and then she's going to shake her hand. She's going to attack Lyra 1 week and then she's going to shake her hand. And then Lyra's going to say, you know, fuck off, or she's going to be like, oh, okay, I'll be out there with you. Like, what's going on here? Why are we doing the mind games again and again and again? I don't really know what the end goal is here. And typically when you get close to a PLE, even if they're not on the card, you sort of get a good idea of, okay, where this is going when it comes to a separate story not included on the card. You kind of get a little hint of where things are going to go, but I don't really know where things are going to go with this. Like, I want to know exactly where is Bayley going to fall into when it comes to the true person that she's going to be moving forward, because I feel like when it comes to somebody like an Alexa Bliss, this works out a lot more, because it just fits her character more when it comes to playing this sort of character. Bayley, I don't really think it works that much, because it's either she's the super nice girl that hugs everybody, or she's the person that's not afraid to say stuff to your face and just piss you off and make you feel very uncomfortable when you're around her. It's either one of those two things with Bayley. I just can't get behind this character where she thinks she's Two-Face from the DC universe, where she's basically somebody that she's pretending she's not. Like, I don't know what's going on with this. And the thing, one positive I can say about Bayley, though, outside of like the character change, I don't know if it's just me noticing this, but it seems like she's pulling a lot more moves out with this new character, like things I don't typically see from her. Like, she's actually doing more moves that I don't typically see her use a lot. So I guess that's one thing, like she's pulling more out of her bag. So that's a plus in my book when it comes to her, like the wrestling part of her that I do appreciate. It's new. It's not like, I think she did like some move off the top rope today, and it was almost like a senton or whatever the case may be. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I feel like seeing something like that's nice, because we don't typically see her moving around in the ring doing these different kinds of moves like, you know, any ordinary person does when they head down to the ring. But other than that, I just want to know when Bayley, and I'll include Lyra in this too, because she is part of this, outside of whatever's going on between the both of them, which I feel like is the bigger picture here. When are they going to get out of this Judgment Day vortex? Because it feels like this has been going on for too long. I don't really know what the end result is. Like, with Lyra going up against Roxanne next week, what is that going to lead to? Like, is it going to lead to Bayley snapping on her or shaking her hand again? Because that's the only conclusion I can really come up here when it comes to that. And also, I don't really want to see the match again, because I literally just saw that match not that long
Last
ago.
week?
So it's like, why am I seeing? Yeah, like 2 weeks ago. So it's like, why am I seeing that again? And then this is a thing that reminds me of the old regime that I did not like. I do not like seeing the same matches over and over and over again. I don't mind if, when the time's right, it needs to happen. Maybe let it sit out for a good 2 to 3 to 4 months or so and revisit again if there's a conflict that gets brought up between either two guys or two girls. That's completely okay if it makes sense when it comes to that sort of thing. But the fact that this is a match that we've seen 2 weeks ago and we're getting again, and the same thing that's been an ongoing theme with us with the whole Bron situation of them always having the same match. You just switch certain people around, like you're playing The Sims or something. You're trying to build a little house, put the mom and dad and kids and the pets and stuff in there. it just seems like there's no creative here. Like, I thought I was heading into this new regime where things were going to be more creative, where we're not seeing the same thing again and again and again. And don't even get me started on this next match, because I'm about to rip it to shreds, because I'm tired of seeing this shit all the time too. Because I really want to know what's going on here. Like, Bayley, I feel like if Bayley and Lyra just did something separate between the both of them, that would be more entertaining outside of how I feel about who Bayley is at this point. But I don't need them with Lyra. I don't need them with Roxanne and Raquel anymore, because I don't see how it evolves their story at all.
Yeah, and well, see, part of the issue is the fact that WWE's women's roster, their numbers are not at the point where they could be having like not better matches, different matches, I guess. So it's just like, because I mean, I'll bring up their roster numbers too, but I mean, I remember going on this rant about like the SmackDown roster, how it's just like, we keep doing the Michin thing with
Yeah.
the US title, and BFAB's somehow involved all the time with it. Like you have Alexa and Charlotte who are running the tag division. You have the Secret Service with Chelsea and Albo right now. Like you have some of these people, but like to fill out your division, you don't have the numbers you really need to do that. Like, and it's really the same thing for Raw, because what do we have on Raw? We have Becky, the IC champion, Stephanie Vaquer as the women's world champion. You got the Kabuki Warriors, who are involved now with Rhea and Eos. They got their own thing going on. AJ Lee just came back, thank God, but she hasn't been on Raw since before
Yeah.
freaking WrestlePalooza. Um, you have Maxine Dupree, which I mean, that's Maxine Dupree.
And with
like
Natalia, even though we don't know what's going on with that, since they keep talking about it, but haven't shown any work on live TV.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just like you don't they don't have the numbers. They have the quality, sure. Like that's great. You have the quality, but you don't have the numbers to really like flesh out a good women's division unless they were all on one show. If all the women were on all on one show,
Yeah.
you would have this problem kind of solved. But then you get into a whole other issue with like, okay, well, should you really do that or whatever, blah blah blah, whatever. So just like, what can we do to be better with that? I mean, maybe that's just utilizing some of the NXT talent you have. Maybe have them come on to Raw and SmackDown and do some things. Like, I mean, again, I don't want to compare. Okay, you know what? I don't want to compare, but fuck it. I'm going to do this. At least with AEW, they at least have the numbers to like do something like that, where it's like, yeah, we could get a quick match and all that. And trust me, I don't really like some of the quick matches that they do, because usually it's just to tie in the story that they're actually telling. But at least they have something like that where they can at least showcase somebody that you may not have heard of, and you can be like, oh, you know what? That's cool. Let's use them. I just realized, when's the last time they've even utilized a freaking like one of the indie talents from the area? Like, I
Yeah.
mean, usually they use them for like squash matches, or like lately they've only been using them as security guards. But
Yeah.
I mean, at least that would be something, you know?
Got the ID talent they could be doing stuff with too.
You
Yeah,
have
like
you have the people from LFG.
yeah, you can throw them a bone or something. Like, I don't know. Like, there's just other things you guys can do
Yeah.
to just be different. Instead of we just get the same formulaic bull crap every single
Main roster.
Yeah.
At
yeah
times.
at times, yeah,
Yeah.
it really is, because again, they at least have the numbers.
Yeah.
There's at least stuff that they could do with it and all that.
Yeah.
But I mean, speaking to tearing things to shreds and being cookie cutter and all that, hey, look, AJ Styles and Dragon
Oh,
Lee
I
took
can't wait for
on
this one.
Los Americanos.
What I'm excited. Yo, look, chat. The reason I'm excited is just to hear their thoughts, because neither of them chime about this on the thread. And the one that has been least interested about this has been dropped over the past couple months. So I've just been excited just to hear how he's going to shred this. What's his rank going to be? Because I know Watkins and myself has been optimistic just to see where this goes. Now, just saying, I switched my tone a bit because I was just pissed about this a bit as well. But Watkins, if you don't mind, I would love for Drop to go first because I would just love to hear his rank if he has it. Because I know I'm just curious because he didn't say anything to the thread. I know he's been the least interested out of the three of us in this storyline over the past couple. He lost interest, I think, since June, chat, or maybe July since Work Collide. So I would love to hear now that we finally got the Bravo and RhIyo. Bravo and RhIyo. Our Tyler Bate is my assumption for one.
It's RhIyo.
RhIyo.
They said it differently. They said it differently. Don't you love that? Instead of RhIyo, it's RhIyo.
RhIyo. So my fault, chat. My apologies. I am Hispanic / Latino, and I got it wrong. RhIyo.
That is one thing I'm gonna say. He at least looked badass. He at least had some sort of aura. I'll say that much about El Grande Americano.
I have to disagree with you too.
I'll say that.
I have to disagree to agree with that one because he looked cartoonish, comedic as hell. Exactly. But yes, Drop, talk to us.
That was
so this entire match is a complete waste of time. So if you decided to just walk away from this, you wanted to work on a script for your next video the next day, you wanted to add emojis to your Discord server, chat with a couple friends through a text message, you wouldn't be missing anything at all. Because with AJ Styles, for one, regardless if John Cena's here or not, he should be at least maybe building towards that match in a way, talking about his experiences with John, talking about his rivalry with him over the years, because he is considered one of John Cena's top rivals because of a lot of the things that they gone through with one another. And when AJ Styles first came into the company, that was the very reason as to why he is where he is, because of how legendary that feud was. So I don't care about it. I mean, it's not going anywhere. Now there's offsprings. Now you're doing more things for whatever reason, because I just feel like it just needs to die. The gimmick not beneficial. It's not helping anybody. Like I don't find this entertaining, and I don't want to look at it and be like, oh well, you know, they're coming out, they're doing funny shit, they're fucking up matches, they're doing this and that. Like I just don't care. I don't care if it looks cartoonish or not. It's just stupid shit. It's a waste of my fucking time, and I'm not gonna keep watching this shit every single week. That's why I'm so glad this kind of stuff is on the product, because it actually gives me an excuse to walk away from my fucking television. Because AJ Styles, hey, he has John Cena. Dragon Lee, he has his eyes on a world title, and this thing with the offspring is going to do. We get it. It's Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. Move on, actually bring them back, have them be a team, possibly have them rip the titles off of the Judgment Day without them actually being top contenders for that title. Just give it to them, and then they can fight. I don't get it. I don't even care. I don't care that AJ Styles won this match, because AJ Styles deserves better. And I agree with a lot of people that say online that you have one of the best wrestlers on your planet, and this is the kind of creative you're giving him, having to deal with the El Grande Americanos. We go from Dom, which was actually entertaining, and then you just have him involved in the El Grande Americana vortex. Like, I can't get behind it. It was fine for a little bit in the beginning, but if you want to talk about the definition of beating a dead horse, this is exactly what it is. This gimmick is overdone. I'm just waiting for Chad Gable to come back as Chad Gable, kicking ass, putting on great matches with people around him, so we can officially move on from this, because this feels like anime filler, and not the kind of anime filler I want to watch. It's the kind of anime filler I want to look up on a website, know what episode it is, and so I can skip it and move on to canon material. I don't care about this stuff at all. Like, whenever I see the El Grande Americano thing, like, now that we have the little offsprings in the picture, like, what's going on with this whole Dom thing? Did Dom forget about it because now he has two sons? What is this, like baby Looney Tunes on Cartoon Network and going on here? I just don't want to deal with this anymore. It's just a waste of time. You have people that want AJ Styles in top programs. Dragon Lee, which is a very good luchador, is not getting the kind of light that he deserves to have. And it just pisses me off that things are positive. I'm not going to say it's funny because it's fucking El Grande Americano, because I'd be lying to you. I do not care about any of this. I want people I care about, like AJ Styles and Dragon Lee, to be. If you wanted just to have the one El Grande Americano, introduce more people, you gotta stop at that point.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's just like the only way any of these lower mid cards can get over is by being El Grande Americano. It's like, okay, cool, neat, I guess. I mean, I like Tyler Bate and I like Pete Dunne. Why not have them think, hey, wait a minute. Oh my gosh. They were a tag team at one point, weren't they?
Yeah.
Huh. And you know what? I'm glad you brought up Chad Gable. Hey, I wonder what the other tag team. Oh wait, the Cruise. Where the fucking at?
AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. That's my joke. That's my canon head. But this was 7-minute 25-second match. This match was trash. It was trash because we dead as had cosplay cheap and RhIyo. And I hate saying that. I really
hated hearing it. I hated hearing it.
I like just saying it like RhIyo.
Was just like RhIyo. I'm just like,
so weird.
He's not a Street Fighter character. What? Nani?
It's so weird.
Like why would you do this? Like, this makes no sense to literally push the envelope of what a Gun Americano was to that. Hey, we're gonna just have two offspring to him. We're gonna have Los Americanos. We're gonna have a group now. I'm like, bro, Tyler Bate was amazing. Us fans was enjoying him in NXT, and us fans was enjoying him doing his moveset. I love it. Watching him when he hits the rope with the ladder of his arms and hits on the neck all the time. Those are cool moveset. I love to see him. He always catches it right on the mark. Have them be fucking the Los Americanos tag team, and it's fucking ugly as hell. And I'm sorry, Marcus, the cape is stupid as hell. It works on Superman, it works on Batman, it works on many others. It works on Nacho Libre himself as well, but does not fucking work on a grande, stupid ass Americano. I love my Ludwig Kaiser. I miss you, my man. You've been doing amazing in the role. Back. I need you to come back. I need you to do your thing. I need you to be winning, because this shit is just now getting too much. I miss, where have you guys been? We need to dominate. Ivy now, this IC title was made for a fucking reason. For our mid-carder on the roster, on the TV time. Now it seems like the people in Gorilla, the people that are booking money, that is not being marketed by the people of the mid-carders, the point and correct them. If you're not, you guys gonna just direct them and tell them fuck up, just like example A, Tiffany Stratton, who went from being natural now to be script only. So our, what was the name? New Catch Republic. That was the fucking name. It was point. Yeah. Where is that? But talk to me. No, you have some things to say as well.
A lot of these people that come from NXT actually have a successful career on there. The Creed brothers were a great tag team in NXT. They really helped the division. You were expecting the exact, once they headed to the main roster, nothing happened. And then when it comes to Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne, they carried NXT UK. They did a lot of great things for that brand, and they did a lot of good things in NXT. They're very good wrestlers. They come up to the main roster. You have Pete Dunne play a butler. Was not funny. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Did nothing for him. But then once you brought back Pete Dunne, people actually started to notice. But wanted to rip your fingers off of your hands, and he just wanted to basically leave nothing behind, not even the bones. He'd chew up the bones. Pete Dunne was a killer in NXT. What happened to him? Why is he wearing a luchador mask? And you have people like Tyler Bate, who did a lot of explosive things in the ring, something that really caught your eye, where it's like, holy shit, he could pick up that guy, he could do that body slam, that German suplex, whatever the case may be. What's going on with that? And Ludwig Kaiser, I mean, ever since he stepped away from Gunther, ever since, like, I would say the last time he had that triple threat match, when it was, whoever he was involved with, I know Sheamus was involved in the match as well, where he had that triple threat match going after the IC title, I believe. Ever since that point, he hasn't really looked the same here, and it's just really weird because I kind of look at this and the people's contracts expire and they go somewhere else, and then you look at them where they're successful at the other place, and then you see like a picture where it's like a before and after in a different company, but then you look on the picture on the left and he's wearing a luchador mask. So it's kind of like you're sort of watering down their true potential of what they could really be. And we've seen what they do in the back room when it comes to the Unreal footage, because we've seen them in the boardroom with the white board and everything. They said some pretty dumb shit on that fucking show when it comes to the kind of ideas, the simplistic thing. But then you have that one guy that actually takes a risk, which I appreciate, where it's like, let's do that. Like the whole thing where a lot of them said, hey, you know what? CM Punk should win the Rumble, which, again, I'm not going to dispute that. I was on board with that. I was one of those people. But I can admit I like how they took a risk. They followed the hype with Jey Uso, and they executed it. So I applaud that guy for actually bringing that up as some way to really push the needle with him at that time. But again, we've seen them make some stupid decisions on that Unreal thing. I can only imagine what's going to happen with season 2 with that, but I have nothing else to say about that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And I mean, honestly, I'm just going to throw these last 3 things as a quick fire segments because,
Might as
I
well,
mean,
yeah.
LA Knight versus Kofi Kingston happened. It was kind of a slow match, if I'm being honest, which is weird to say about Kofi Kingston, especially. It was mainly just like the closing segments of the match. I mean, there's some other good stuff too, but I mean, it happened. LA Knight needs a win. Kofi Kingston needs some sort of something to do. Hopefully now they're done with Penta. Seems like Penta's moving on to Dom, but cool, neat, awesome, fantastic. Becky Lynch beats down Tozawa and Maxine Dupree backstage because they were kind of making fun of Becky, but she kind of deserved it too. But fine, whatever, cool, neat, awesome. And of course, Tiffany Stratton and Stephanie Vicaire have a little bit of a war of words. But if you heard John's comments earlier about, hey, I just won the title 2 weeks ago, let's have the fight. That's Stephanie versus Tiffany for the Crown Jewel title. Any thoughts you guys have on these segments beyond they happened? I mean, we're getting Becky versus Maxine next week. That's gonna be fun again, right?
Oh, yeah.
Look, the one thing I'm pissed off about this is Maxine. Why the fuck did you just say, hey, Tozawa didn't have nothing to do with this? Slap her back! Why you just pushing her away and tell her like, hey, Tozawa nothing to do with this? It was me telling you something. Then push her away. She literally just went back and punched you, and then she turned her back against Becky. And I'm like, bro, you're about to get slapped. You're about to get slapped. And she did get slapped. And I'm like, bro, you just got you just got bitch slapped and treated like a dog by Becky Lynch just because you was told to do so. And that just annoys me because, like, look, I love it that wrestlers and the cast could look good on screen and everything. You are pretty as hell, but I wanted more action when it comes to Maxine Dupree. Just standing there and looking pretty when it comes to Tozawa, just for the scene, for the acting and everything. It just doesn't work out too well or too much when they for my entertainment. I did not care for Maxine Dupree. Just standing there and like, hey, Tozawa didn't do much. And I'm like, bro, okay. Maxine doing much. LA Knight against Kofi Kingston. Cool match. 10-minute. Very solid. Very fast paced a bit, but then very fast sluggish. Few moments here and there. I'm like, okay. I like the BFT reverse when it comes to Kofi Kingston. That was pretty cool to see. I knew LA Knight was going to take the W, since right now Adam Pearce said, yes, you know what? I could make the match because I am the GM. I can make the match for Kofi versus LA Knight, but I'm not going to do the match for you since you want still the tag team. I'm not going to approve that yet because you need to earn it. But I'm going to approve the match because you talk all this shit against LA Knight. So I'm going to give you the match. Okay. And Tiffany Stratton and Stephanie, we kind of spoke a bit previously on their acting and their stuff. It's cool. This is the best they could work with in a slow build of 3 weeks we got because of Crown Jewel. This is the best we got. Is what we got. Can't say much.
All right. What about you, Drop? How do you feel about these quick fire segments?
So with LA Knight and Kofi Kingston, I mean, hopefully LA Knight has some sort of future on Monday Night Raw, because I really want to see him doing things, and getting him in the ring with former world champion might have helped him get to where he needs to be. But at the same time, I want to see him in something meaningful. So I'm hoping, just because the New Day isn't after the tag titles, you're going to have LA Knight and Xavier Woods next week, because God forbid I see that, I am not going to be a happy camper. You just want to swap pieces around like you're playing chess, not really focusing at the situation at hand. I mean, I look at these people as main eventers, do something with them. The whole thing with Becky Lynch and Maxine, like Watkins said, cool, we're getting again. No, not really. And if Maxine keeps this up, she's not going to have no future as a women's wrestler on Monday Night Raw if they keep making her look like somebody that's intimidated by everything that she sees.
Yes,
and then when it
agreed.
comes to Tiffany Stratton and Stephanie Becker, this is all they could really do here. Didn't really expect much out of them considering the little time that they got. Hopefully on SmackDown, Stephanie takes a little visit on there. Maybe they can have a little exchange of words, possibly bring up things that matter, like their times in NXT or whatever. But outside of that, that's all I really have.
And I mean, just transitioning into final thoughts. I mean, you kind of heard us all kind of complain a lot tonight, but there were some bright spots, at least when it comes to like the men's crown jewel match, the main
Yeah.
event tonight with like Roman coming back and all that. But it's just like, honestly, it just potential's there. You just gotta capitalize on it,
Yeah.
man. Like you have
Take a
all this
risk.
great talent. Yeah, take a risk, please. Like do something that's just different. Like at least make it feel like you're trying. Because
Mhm.
right now it doesn't feel like it at all. It just feels like you're just going by the numbers, just playing things safe, and just not being the WWE that people fell in love with. And I'm not even talking about like back in like the 90s or early 2000s or anything like that. Like people gravitated to WWE from Cody's story. If everything that came from, again, WrestleMania 40 became that bar, and you guys have yet to reach it.
Yeah.
Like you guys are maybe halfway. I'll give you halfway, at least at this point in time. I'll give you halfway, but that's like a strong halfway because like it's kind of been downhill ever since. Like 2024 WWE product weekly was great. I remember coming on here, we were having great conversations. We were having fun. There
Yeah.
was things like Ilya Dragunov versus Jey Uso, me crashing out because Jey beat Ilya Dragunov. I still hate that to this day.
Oh
You
boy.
know, like Gunther's rise to power when he was going towards the world title, like things like that were captivating. It was good. You even had Cody regularly defending against people like AJ. He didn't defend against Orton, but like still though, it's just like he was having good matches for his title and all that.
It really
The
was.
whole lead up into like war games and all that. Like and say what you want about like Solo's, diet Temu bloodline and all that. I would fucking take that right now. I'll say that right now. I would take that because hey, at least that means I get Jacob Fatu more on my TV screen. And thank God he's back. But it's just like I just don't get their mentality when it comes to this. But I know part of it is it's money and getting as much money as they can, but what they're losing the plot here. And it's getting a lot more noticeable. A lot more people are realizing it, but there's still just those drone AI brains online that are just like, "Oh, this is peak stuff." It's just like, have a fucking thought. Like, have some sort of critical thought in your mind.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's fine. And that's not saying, oh, you have to criticize. You can like something too. That's fine as well. It's just like, just don't be a sheep. Don't be a sheeple, people. Vash, what did you think of Raw tonight? Go on your soapbox now. I'm tired of standing on my soapbox. Ugh,
Look, chat, I'm gonna keep it
ugh.
simple and I'm gonna keep it a buck to you. This Raw was entertaining, said the least. When you are myself and watching your wifey, it's the fun part, is enjoyment, because you get to enjoy and have questions, and you can have companionship. So it gets to the fun part in that aspect. But when it comes to our critic slash reviewer, it gets a bit complicated, because you got to see when it comes with a microscope into what it is. And this Raw has been inconsistent when it comes to the story plot. Is you copy and pasting from the weekly formula, and the plot is being forgotten, like Watkins said. Because hey, if you're an anime or manga reader, you know many things about the plot, many on the point or many by the phrase. So what WWE, like we created it, Weebs of the Ring 4 back last year, to give you a full frontal opinions and honest review, even if it was not the popular review, even if it wasn't the most common. It was, hey, this episode was lackluster, or like the 3 times or 4 times Watkins, myself, or Drop gave the rants in this episode, or the past previous couple of weeks, when it comes to, hey, who the fuck asked for the Los Americanos? I didn't. And then I'm the Latino one here. I didn't ask for this. I was okay with a Grande Americano that one time and a couple times, and the jokes here and there. All right, he's helping Dom. Now we got offerings. Now we're multiplying. Is everyone going to become a Los Americanos? Are we going to have a war games of Los Americanos? Is that what we're going to have? Who's the real one? Are we going to have everyone join in and ask which is the real version? Are we going to have the Spider-Man meme? No, I don't care for it. But honestly, Chad, the one thing I did enjoy the most is the Seth and Cody vignette on what it meant. Talking about enemies. And also, this is part 1. We're getting part 2, I believe, next week on Raw. So I'm excited for that, to see the full story and the connectivity of what it all means for each other. So I'm excited for it.
Same here. But of course, Drop, what do you think of Raw overall?
I'm just happy that we reached the end of our show, because this episode of Raw, outside of the vignette, which I thought was very well done, looking forward to the second part. That's one thing I can give them props for. They're always good with those things, so I like how they're using that to elevate the story between Cody and Seth. I thought the segment between Cody and Seth was also good as well. Hopefully Seth figures out in his head what he needs to do in order to beat Cody at Crown Jewel. Even the things of Jay and Roman, I thought was very nice. That was very good storytelling when it comes to building on what was said prior, with the conversation of Roman and Jay being your own person, and just having Jimmy in the background was the cherry on top of that. Just seeing his expressions when he was looking at what was going on in front of him, that was very nice. Outside of that, I mean, we see the potential there. We know the limits that you can go. And I'm glad that Watkins brought up Ilya Dragunov, because that was another person that could have easily, and we even talked about it on our Discord server. We talked about it personally between the 3 of us. He's supposed to be coming back soon. There's supposedly supposed to be a feud starting between him and Rusev. Wouldn't that have been nice if Rusev actually became IC champion tonight, so they can actually have a little gold on the line to actually make that pretty intriguing, heading into a possible blood feud between both of those guys, which I can honestly see it, considering how hot-headed both of them are. But fortunately, we can't get to that. But I'm glad Punk's coming back next week. That's one person that I always depend on. He's awesome. Wouldn't be surprised in the slightest we get a little surprise return of AJ Lee with that Becky Lynch and Maxine match, because I expect nothing out of that match. I feel like AJ Lee's probably going to steal the show of her return, because we need to get that match between the both of them, because she got the W on Becky. You're not going to just move on from that and forget about it. But yeah, those are my thoughts on this show. I'm definitely looking forward to SmackDown, because we had some good discussion on Friday, especially with the start of that Drew and Jacob Fatu feud.
Yeah, boy. Oh, man. But Vash, go ahead. Let the people know where they can find us on all our social media platforms, because we're about to end the show here.
Yes, chat. If you stuck long enough on a 2-hour show, a much better show than Monday Night Raw, because we gave you the synopsis, we gave you the clips, we gave you the conversation, the debates, the rants, the how we felt the expression. Because if you guys want to know more, we have some other content for you guys to check out. We have the Monday coverage that you guys saw of Monday Night Raw. We have the Thursday coverage for Grappling with the Week. That's our overall of the industry of pro wrestling, AW, NXT, and other coverages that we discuss, any interviews that we consume, and we speak about the news that have come out for the pro wrestling entertainment world, and we give you any hot topic of that week that we do decide or not to probably focus on. We also have the Friday Night SmackDown. We also have the POEs every Saturday. Like when it comes to Crown Jewel, we will probably be live at 8 p.m. EST. Also, stay tuned if you want more content when it comes to anime, manga, conversational podcast, like when it comes to Tuesday at 10 a.m. when it comes to the Anime League podcast for myself and Juan, because we've been doing the coverage for the past 3 weeks, me and him going dual, and it's been a fun show, so go check it out. It was a great conversation. Go check out the Monday show as well for the Off the Bench. We did our summer season ranked tier list for this season up to 25, so go check that out. Episode 48, then episode 49 will be week 1 coverage of the fall season. What about enter the last season of the year? And lastly, chat, go check out our Halloween coverage of Anime Podcast. We might have a surprise guest, a voice over for a big movie that's coming out next month. So go check that out. We appreciate it for everyone enjoying the content. Like, comment, and press that subscribe button. If you see that red button still on, you gotta make it click and go gray.
Exactly. I like the color gray because we all live in a gray world, not a black and white world. It's all shades of gray, everybody. At least to a most part. But with that being said, hey, we're gonna end the show here tonight. So thank you guys so much for checking out and taking time out of your day to listen to the Weebs of the Ring podcast. If you enjoyed what we had to say, why not do exactly what Vash told you guys to do? We are known as Weebs of the Ring on all social media platforms. You see the ads on your screen. Go check those out. All the links are in the description down below for you. Also, be sure to use that hashtag Weebs of the Ring to interact with us before, during, or after these shows. Because, hey, it's a great way to continue on with the conversation from the shows and beyond. And it's also a great way to give us feedback because, hey, we're nothing without you guys tuning in, and we love to continue to do better than we were the last episode. Weebs of the Ring is presented by Anima We Studio. Thanks, of course, to our production team for all their hard work to put the show on. Thank you once again for joining us. And remember, as always, no stunt grenades were harmed in recording of this podcast. Have a good night, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll see you on Thursday for Grappling with the Week.
You guys.